Hey everybody, thanks for showing up. Let's start off with a show of hands. How many of you watch the news? Here you go. And it tells me also that you can hear me too. Most people watch the news. But do you ever stop and think that there's two sides to the news? There's watching news and there's making news. When you're a candidate for public office, the most interesting part of any campaign is making news. Now, you know how I did not say making the news. I said making news. There's a difference. Because making the news is reactive. That's something that has happened. But making news is proactive. That's where you go out and make it happen. And when I say news, you're talking about any sort of media. You're talking about print media, online media, social media, TV, radio, podcasts, whatever. It doesn't matter. And when you're a candidate for public office, your biggest friend is the media. No question about it. Because nowhere else are you going to find a bigger megaphone for your point of view. But in order to use the media effectively, you have to understand the media. And it starts with one key question. What is the purpose of the media? Is it to inform the public? Is it to uncover corruption? Mold public opinion? Nope. There's one purpose and one purpose only. It's to sell papers and banner ads. As a candidate, your goal should be to help them to sell banner ads and newspaper ads. Never forget that, because they could be your best friend as long as you're aligned with them, as long as the two of you are side by side. Knowing that, now there are many ways to get into the media, and the absolute worst is to run some sort of an ad or commercial, something like that. How many of you watch banner ads? How many of you run off to the kitchen during a commercial? And it gets quickly expensive. Not a good idea. Yes, it does have limited success, but what you want is big success, not little dribs and drabs. And the best way to get a big success is to make your own news. That sounds scary, doesn't it? Making your own news? It's like robbing a bank or something like that. Most people don't think of themselves as newsmaker, but as a candidate, you should be thinking that way. You're the one who's making the news. And it's not difficult to do. All you need to do is just stage some sort of an event, a demonstration, a rally, anything. Nothing gets media attention more than a group of people hanging around together. But how does the media get to know that you're going to be doing this? Simple. Send out a news release. And by the way, they're called news releases these days, not press releases. Only boomers call them press releases anymore. News release. But don't panic. It's an easy thing to do to send out a news release. 1 page, 3 paragraphs. Pretty straightforward. So get out your number 2 pencils, fellow ETSers, and let's look at the innards of a press news release, whatever you're going to call it. I'm a boomer, I can say press release. Paragraph 1. It's easy. Who, what, where, when, and why. Basic journalism 101 stuff that you learned or maybe didn't learn in college. So let me give you a real live example. This is from something that actually happened recently. It was an actual rally about the Patriot Act. So let's go through it. Who? The Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. What? Funeral for the Bill of Rights. Where? Valley Forge Cathedral. When? March 24th, the anniversary of the day the Patriot Act became law. Why? Because the act violates 9 of the 10 amendments in the Bill of Rights. Since the act has killed the Bill of Rights, we're going to Valley Forge and we're going to dig a hole and we're going to bury it. Is that sort of opening paragraph to get your attention? That's what you want. Paragraph 2, this is the fun part. Quote yourself. Make up whatever you like, any sort of quote. But whatever it is, make sure it's quotable. For example, the quote that I used at this rally was, "What value in defending America if we betray the very values that define her?" Pretty good. And you can quote others too, like that very quotable guy, Ben Franklin. "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." And of course, throw in something that's a little bit indignation, just for extra measure. Things like, just who do they think they are passing that kind of law? Told you, fun stuff. Say whatever you like. This is your news release. That's your second paragraph. Third paragraph is always boilerplate. It's always the same. It just says who you are. Same paragraph at the bottom of every release you're going to send. For example, the one on mine, it says, founded in 1971, the Libertarian Party is the third largest party in Pennsylvania and the nation. Like the Founding Fathers, Libertarians believe that you have the right to live your life your way without interference, provided only you respect the rights and property of others. For more information, contact your name here at your phone number here and your email address here and your website. That's it. 3 paragraphs, short and sweet. First one is who, what, where, when, and why. Second one is all your quotes. Third one is boilerplate. Short and sweet. One thing that's still missing, though, is a catchy headline. Not something like, Libertarians protest bad law. No, 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 no. You want something like, dead and buried at Valley Forge this Saturday. Gets a little more attention, right? So there you have your news release in hand. What do you do with it? Well, yeah, you could send it to your buddy's podcast. You can put it on your Facebook page or somewhere. But we don't want dribs and drabs, remember. You're a candidate. You got to think big, remember? First thing to do, call CNN. Call Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS. Call them all the biggies. Call their main number and ask, where do I send a news release? And believe it or not, they'll tell you. They'll tell you the email address or the fax number if they still use faxes, just like that. Remember, they're in the business of selling newspapers and banner ads. Anything they can do to increase their circulation, they love. So there you go. Let's take a step back and see where we are. You have your event planned and scheduled. You've written your news release. You've sent it to the world. One thing, though, you need to be polite and warn people you're coming. What I do is I call the cops. Believe it or not. And I always say the same thing. Hi, my name is Ken Krawchuk, candidate for whatever I'm running for. This is a courtesy call. I'm calling to let you know we're planning a peaceful rally at location XYZ on such and such a date. If you have any questions, my personal cell is whatever. Then shut up. What's going to happen is you're talking to a dispatcher. They're going to pass you to the sergeant. Say the same thing again. Then shut up. Sergeant's going to send you to the lieutenant. Lieutenant's going to send you to the captain. Finally, the captain is going to have enough intelligence to know that this is still America. That you have every right to stage your rally in any public place without, be it known, without any sort of permit. I've done rallies everywhere. Sidewalks, parks, courthouses, offices of elected officials, inside Philadelphia International Airport protesting the TSA, even in front of private homes. But that's another story for another speech. Repeat after me. I have the right. This is still America. And if you're paranoid, send the cops your news release via certified mail or the airport or whoever's house you're going to. That way they can't say they didn't know you were coming. You're thinking big, remember? You got to act the part. Now you're all ready. Come the big day. Wear something appropriate. Bring something, whatever you have, whether it's buttons, banners, t-shirts like I'm wearing now. Whatever it may be. Bring along a targeted flyer saying why you're there. Bring along your news release. Hand it out to people. Hand it to people walking by. Hand it to people driving by. Whatever it is. Remember, you're out to take advantage of all this brouhaha. Find out, so people can find out, excuse me, more and more about you. Stand in the middle of the street. Pass it out to people. And if you've done your homework well, then comes the big payoff. Reporters show up. That's the best thing. When you see one, drop everything. Whatever you're doing, whoever you're talking to, go over and talk to them. Speak your quotes with gusto. What value in betraying America if we destroy the very values that define her? Whatever it may be. Give them your handout. Answer their questions. And try to come armed with rehearsed answers. Every single one. There's several key points to remember when you're talking to a reporter. Number one is never speak off the record. I did that once. The next day, it was all in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Kenny learned, never going to do that again. Another thing, never ever lie to a reporter. If you don't know, say, I don't know. If it's none of their beeswax, you say it's none of your beeswax. And always, always with a reporter, stick to one topic. Even if they say, hey, it's a nice day for a rally. You say, yeah, it's a shame they're trying to destroy the Bill of Rights. Always message, message, message. And you've got a great rally, great day, a lot of fun, everybody knows what's going on, and you've made the media. You've made news. But there's one last piece. After it's all over, ain't over yet. Because you have to put together a post-event news release. I'll get it straight. But this is an easy one. You take the same release you sent out before, same title, same first paragraph, except you change everything to the past tense from the future tense. Paragraph 2 is a little different though. It's a summary of what went on, how many people were there, who spoke, what they said, and you still include all of your nice fiery quotes and maybe some new ones. Same boilerplate at the bottom. That final release is invaluable to the media because if they weren't there in person, they can act like they were. They know everything that went on. You've given them enough material to write intelligently about your rally. Yeah, they're still going to butcher it, and I've seen it happen too many times, but at least they may spell your name right. Take what you can get. So fellow Toastmasters, there you have it. How you can make news, you personally. It's a great way to push your cause to the public. You don't have to be running for office. You could just be pushing for better schools. You could be pushing for pro or anti, whatever you want. It's all the same formula. It's a great way to get to know reporters better too. And if you can get their business card, that goes into your Rolodex. And of course, they're the first people that you send out your release to next time. So there you have it. That's how to make the news. I want to see you get out there and change the world. Madam Toastmaster.